Hello and welcome as we continue Three Kobolds Gaming's playthrough of the Agents of Edgewatch AP known as Heroes of Absalom.
Ow, ow!
Yes.
Heroes?
Yes.
Hopefully we find him soon.
I know.
Really.
Well, we're going to see one today,
we-
right?
We got a
That's true,
couple of
yeah.
them down, but like we really gotta track these guys down. I mean, we're
We
like
should probably gather them together for some sort of group take things.
a
Well-
heroes moot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully, in session 17, we'll figure out at least one of the heroes. How y'all doing today? It's been a week. I feel like it's been a week. It's been a long week.
It has.
I feel like it's been a lifetime, to be totally honest.
For some of us on the East Coast, there's been like at least 5 different seasons that we've passed through in the past week. So it just feels.
I hear that's true for everyone. I mean, our hearts and thoughts go out to Texas for sure, and I've heard other regions of the world are very affected by weather. So the planet's doing fine. The planet's doing great. The climate is definitely
Can
not in trouble.
confirm that
Yeah.
that is not, in fact, accurate.
We are
That's a
chilling
BS.
and should change nothing. Everything should stay exactly the same.
Well,
Insert burning dog meme.
yes.
This is fine.
Fortunately, we live in the real world and not the make-believe world of Pathfinder, where the weather is also magical and can lead to things like, I don't know, giant persistent vortexes of doom that wipe out entire seacoasts. I mean, at least we don't have that yet, right?
Just to name a random example, that's definitely not a part of the world.
Emily, I heard you had something you wanted to talk about.
Mostly just how excited I am about this outfit. I've been indulging in anime for the first time in my life, and as you can see, it has affected me.
As it does. As it does.
I like it. I like it a lot. Yeah.
What would be your recommendation to someone who's an anime noob to get into
I am
anime?
not qualified to give that advice.
Just watch
Well, how have you gotten into it?
Well, I have been watching Attack on Titan.
Okay.
And just, I started like a week and a half ago and then was done like 3 days later.
Oh wow.
As is
'cause I'm
tradition.
Me.
Goes quick. Yeah, I heard.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it. I am excited to.
That depends,
consume
Ben.
more.
How much time do you have?
Yeah, just
Yeah.
watch all of One Piece and you'll be fine.
One Piece?
Come
Yeah,
back to us
it's
4
like-
years
it's like
from now
14
when you
seasons
finish
of
One
One
Piece.
All like 900 and something episodes.
Yeah, so many.
900?
Yeah.
One Piece
It's been
like
running for like
years.
consistently for like 14
I'm not
years
even
now.
joking. It's like at 960 something
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
now, I think.
I'm impressed that anime can keep storylines that consistent. I mean, I know it's referencing from manga, but like manga has to also have that much material for it to
And
be
it's
that
still like a
consistent.
really popular anime
Yeah,
too.
it's still
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't stay at the top that long for most content, but like I guess you can when
Incredible.
you're in One Piece. I've heard Sword Art Online is a really good one to start with. I've heard that Full Metal Alchemist is a good one to start
Yeah.
with.
I've
My
heard lots of good
Hero-
things
My
about
Hero
it.
Academia.
I've heard that Yu Hakusho is a
that
pretty good
one
one
as
to start with. Also, if you wanted to.
Food Wars, that's like easy.
Also, if you have way too much time in your hands, Hunter x Hunter, really good.
Yes.
Really long.
Oh, I'm about to start playing a D&D campaign based off of Hunter x Hunter.
Oh,
So,
that's a good
That's
setting.
awesome.
It's a really good setting.
What's
Yeah.
what's Hunter x Hunter?
Is it Hunter x Hunter or is it Hunter x Hunter?
It's visually Hunter x Hunter, but it's Hunter x Hunter.
called Hunter.
I say Hunter x Hunter. But
They're
I
both.
hear both.
Plus
I hear both.
Juliet
Yeah.
is still Romeo and Juliet, even though it's the plus side, the one with Leo DiCaprio and Claire Danes. It's still Romeo and Juliet. even
This
though
is
it's
now
the
an anime
plus
discussion
Yeah.
screen, so
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
3 hours worth.
No, Hunter x Hunter is a really good one.
So like
Um,
the
I can
center
definitely-
part was also reminding me of Leo a bit in that movie, so like it's tied together. Like
That's funny.
And of course, I have to throw it out there. Also, if you have time, Naruto. I'm a Naruto stan. Still good.
Yeah.
Still
of
good.
course.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, there are better anime.
Whoa.
Don't get me wrong. There are better
Whoa.
anime.
I mean,
Naruto
I
was good.
still watch
No,
it.
no,
I still
some
watch it,
shade,
so I can't
man.
really say it's bad.
It's a really good. You were asking about beginner anime. Naruto is a really good beginner anime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any of the shonen anime, Dragon Ball Z, Naruto.
Oh, yeah, 'cause I watched
The
Dragon Ball
original
Z
Dragon
when I was
Balls
a kid.
is excellent.
Dragon Ball is also, yeah. That's that's well beyond the point. We're gonna play some Pathfinder 2nd Edition tonight, set in the world of Galarian and not any of the numerous settings that we have just discussed.
On our way to episode 960 to match One Piece.
Yeah. We're
Episode 17.
Heroes of Absalom,
Don't
we've
worry,
already
we'll
been
get there.
signed for 30 seasons, so we'll get there.
Hell
We'll
yeah.
get there.
10%
But
of the way there.
we return.
Yeah.
We return to our keen knot of knackered knaves following a rather dangerous few days. We watched as they dealt with the fallout of the Royal Rumble, where a woman identified as Alamure backstabbed Princess Puddles, setting off an alchemical bomb of some variety and making off with the prize pool. The group subsequently identified the man Jeremy Hoff, a man that they've been after for a number of days now, as he seems to be the connecting thread amongst many of the incidences that they've dealt with. Indices, I don't know. Having almost caught him, but being left with only his bodyguard, Shark assaults the man, who they later find out to be named Bill, and nearly kills him. The only thing that stopped him was the appearance of the Muckrakers, the Puddles District Guards, who appear to have been tipped off somehow about the illegal goings-on under the Brooktown Brewery. The guards accuse Shark of attempted murder, having seen what he did to the man, as Dr. Forsyth and Bastro bring Bill back from the brink of death. And it requires Penumbra speaking to Shark to break him of his apparent mutagen-fueled rampage, though it is clear to all that are present that something is not quite right with him. With Penumbra's successful de-escalation, Shark is peacefully detained and taken away, and the group sets about questioning Bill, taking him to a tavern where he seems more than happy to share what he knows for a few drinks, but perhaps a bit too eager. They come to find that Jeremy is an influential power broker in Absalom's underworld, being able to connect anybody to anything that they need for a bit of coin. And that he's running his information from a speakeasy of sorts, known as the House of the Plains. They also find that this place is apparently very difficult to get into, with heavy security and requiring invitations, something that Bill thinks is going to be very difficult to obtain given the current political climate in the underworld.
Yeah.
They rest on their newfound knowledge and find a letter from Isabella, denoting their next meeting in a few days' time. They go about the town for some downtime until the day before their meeting, eventually making their way back together at their shared apartment, where they once more try to solidify their relationships by airing some of the secrets that had been building tension and mystique between them. We come back to the group as they are seated around, presumably, their one table, with 2 stools, a crate, and a beanbag between the 4 of them.
Not a beanbag chair, just a little.
No, just a beanbag. It's about 1.5 feet lower than the table.
We took it out of our. We took it out of that set. What's that game? Gosh, I'm losing my mind. Anyway, there we go.
Cornhole.
Yeah, cornhole. There we
Cornhole.
go.
Gotcha.
Took it out of our cornhole set. Yeah.
What would you all like to do as it is
So
now?
just for Dr. Forsyth's like stress.
Yeah. Stress beanbag.
So it's the evening. We have like done a bunch of gathering of information.
It's like 10
tomorrow,
p.m. You all
today.
are like finished with dinner, just kind of lounging about. You were discussing some of what's been going on with Dr. Forsyth, where he shared a bit about what has been haunting him. I believe Twinkletoes also mentioned something about a past.
Yeah.
The night before, right? We did like 2 straight nights of
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
2 nights
table.
of secret sharing time.
It was fun secret
The Secreteers sharing secrets.
I think the Penumbra, if anybody else doesn't really say anything, he's just gonna kind of go to bed. He's pretty exhausted from the past few days of walking around the city and talking to so many people. I think he's just drained mostly. He's not necessarily an extrovert, so he's pretty exhausted from that.
I think Twinkletoes is gonna want to check in on Penumbra and see how he's doing.
Yeah, so talk to me about, before that happens, you all have this small, like, 2-bedroom apartment with a shared kind of out facility at the end of the hallway that has, like, somewhat running water. So there's, like, it's not very high-tech, but you do at least have some very basic shared amenities. But really, the space that you're renting is like 2 bedrooms and a common space with some pantry space.
Who's sharing a room?
So yeah, so talk to me about what the setup is like.
I mean, Penumbra's not to share with anybody. It's really whoever Twinkletoes feels comfortable sharing a room with, I think.
Or does Twinkletoes get her own room and the 3 boys camp it out?
Honestly, Penumbra used to sleep on the floor, like in the desert. So I think he's like chilling. I think if you put him in the living room, like it's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the doctor is at the mercy of everyone else, so he will not raise a fuss about any room situation.
I imagine Penn just sleeps in a different place every night. He just tries to find like the right one. He just sleeps like in the kitchen one night, and then like on like underneath the window, like by the living room window.
Twinkletoes finds him like under her bed one night. Like.
Also, wait, did you call Penumbra Pen?
Yeah.
Is that a thing?
I've never heard that.
Yeah.
At first, I was like, "Who's Penn? Is that like a new familiar?"
Where's
I
Ted?
haven't mentioned.
That would be his nickname, though.
I thought you were talking about me, and I was like, wait, what?
Oh no.
Yeah,
Penn.
Ben Johnson
No,
walks into the apartment.
Penn Johnson.
His nickname
Penumbra.
is actually Numb.
No.
I prefer Penn Star Numbear.
Pen Star. Oh god.
No, you have the perfect nickname. It's Bra.
Bruh.
Bra, dude.
Bruh Star.
Bra.
Bruh Star Bear, bruh.
So, Bruh is just gonna try to go to bed and then we'll deal with this in the morning. I
Which
think
is
we'll
really
come back
awkward
to
because
that
you
all
like pull a bedroll over to the corner, lay it out across the 2 stools off to the side, and then start trying to nap with the
he doesn't
other
exactly
3.
have
like-
conventions. Yeah.
You pulled the stool out from under Bastro and like.
This is mine now. Thank you.
So what I'm hearing is Twinkletoes gets her own room. The 3 other guys sleep in the living room, and then we have another bedroom for Treasure.
We have a room.
We have a treasure room!
We have a guest
treasure room.
I shall call it the vault.
That is a perfect distribution of rooms, and I will have it no other way.
Bastro is totally fine with that, by the way.
Yeah.
So
All
Twinkletoes,
right.
you're looking to speak with Penumbra, maybe off to the side a little bit.
Yeah. I don't invite him into my bedroom, but I do go and I
You
sit down.
pull up a bar stool.
I
There's only 2 stools
nudge
and
his
Penumbra's across
feet
both
off
of them.
of one of the bar stools and sit down there.
Hello,
Okay.
Twinkletoes.
Hi. How are you?
I have obviously been better. than today. But it's hard for me to believe that my brother did not have this coming.
I'd started to see it coming through. I haven't known him very long, but
He's clearly been unhinged for some time, and it's only now coming to a point. He and I are not the closest of siblings. We've spent many years apart and only recently come back together. So it was hard for me to tell at the time, and doing all this with him, I thought it would give him some sort of direction, but unfortunately I think it's left him even more lost than before. I believe that I must wait for a sign to tell me my next move, or to tell me where the Thorn Grabbers and the Star Bears end up on this wide plain of a world.
well, I'm not ready to say goodbye to you just yet, so don't go skittering off, okay?
I will try my best. How are you, Twinkle Toes?
I have also had better days in my life. I'm trying to stay positive. I'm excited to see Isabella tomorrow.
Yes, that is quite good news that we'll see her again. And whoever her superior officer is, I imagine they'll be even more impressive than she is.
I'm really worried about my parents.
And of course, it's still possible that they're out there, of course, and well, I know that you'll do everything in your power to make sure they stay that way, and I think everyone you travel with will as well. It's going to be all right.
I know. I know it will.
You should get some rest. We need to be fully
should.
prepared for the day ahead.
Yeah. All right. Good night.
Good night.
Good night, lads.
And then
Good night.
Penumbra turns on, he pulls on his ear, and then all the lights on him turn off.
That's good. That's good.
That's good. That's good. I think as Twinkle Toes is leaving, you hear the doctor just like go, "Oh, Bastro, you're cheating again! There's no way you've gotten blackjack 6 times in a row!" And he like flips the table that Bastro's clearly winning at.
Bastard just winks at Peter, who might have a card under his wing or not. Can't really tell.
The cardboard table shatters and folds in half as you flip it.
As you crush it under your foot.
But it is recyclable, so you got that going for you.
There you go. Yeah.
I guess now Bastard's gonna pull out his bedroll and somewhere in the living room just lay it out.
Yeah.
Fall asleep.
You all make your way to your respective quarters, at least one of the two, we'll call them beds for the purpose of
corners
designation.
is what I believe the word you meant to say.
There are 2 frames. Whether or not there are beds in them is remains to be seen. Twinkle Toes occupying one of them, the vault or treasure room remaining well guarded, I suppose, and the 3.
Yeah, the dragon in
gentlemen.
there, I think, is pulling overtime this week.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know what they say about union work, though. You're gonna have to pay him extra.
Oh God, we've dealt with that enough.
Oh, jeez. What do you think Dragon Dental runs us? What do you think that's all about?
Why do you think they unionized? You all eventually make your way to some semblance of sleep. Penumbra. Oh, dear sweet Penumbra.
Pen, as he's known in some circles.
Or bruh.
Or bruh.
Bro.
At some point in your restless slumber, you feel the pull of the stars above you. A tug at your mind turns to a wrenching force that violently rips your perception up and out of your body. A large, clawed paw lifts your consciousness out of your mortal form, your astral self now removed from its material housing. And as you are lifted up, you perceive the grand city of Absalom rushing away from under you. As brilliant as ever, you see and feel the emanation of energy from the Starstone at the heart of the city. Waves of divine energies flowing out from its great well of strength, the heartbeat like pulse pushing waves of magic and life force in all directions. Though something is different this time. As you absorb the scene below, you see shadow seething like mist, clinging to the corners and alleys of the city below. A malignant darkness that ebbs and flows across the streets. With your own perception, you see the city's lights, the hundreds of thousands of souls, being smothered by the mist, with bright pinpoints of light being quelled in shadow, winking out to shine no more. And you see the constellation of Baidam, the constellation you've used to navigate and guide your path being consumed in the mist, its once mighty form of a shark now fractured and dull. The claw once more tugs at your consciousness, pulling you ever higher into the sky, that the ground below you looks a mere toy, a board on which games of little significance are played. You're thrusted north. What might be hundreds of miles on the material plane flashes past in an instant before you lurch to a sickening halt. Though not a stranger, per se, to astral projection and visions, these are not motions of your own intent, and done with a strength and urgency far greater than your own. An unceremonious treatment from a greater source. Your attention is forced upon an old but familiar constellation. That of Lupus, of the Lyrunqua. It lays slumbering under the great star Navrik of the eyeless sight. And while it slumbers, your gaze is drawn towards the multitude of vines that have begun to encircle and envelop the sleeping wolf. These great vines seem withered and decrepit, but thorns in the thousands lash into the constellation, beams of light flowing like rivers from the wounds on the wolf, now being choked and suffocated by the vines around its neck as they begin to drag it into the earth. You begin to feel the same sensation wrap around you as vines begin twisting up your arms and legs and grabbing at you with razor-like thorns that dig and do not give way. Your mind booms with the roar of the great star bear, shaking you and your very being as your vision blurs from the weight of its display. Once more, the great celestial paw raises before you and swipes at your form, sending you once more reeling through space before you swiftly impact with your material form. A loud crack as the floorboards beneath your physical body bend beneath you. You remain aware, your body and mind aching, though some time passes before the two fully re-merge and officially wake again in Galarian. The air is heavy around you, the smell of copper in every breath and every nerve in your body on edge. The party in their various sleeping spots around the apartment seem blissfully unaware of your journey, as you find yourself standing at the window, looking out at the dark, empty street below. What do you do?
Wow. So he's awake now in his corporeal body. He is now back to where he's supposed to be. He sits up in essentially like a cold sweat and he looks out at the street, looks out at the stars, and kind of looks back between below the night horizon and then above the night horizon. He looks into the city and then up and over it, over and over again. And eventually, I think he just sort of he sits for a long time, for half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour, before he eventually stands up, collects his things, and I think he just walks out the door.
Wait, what?
Heads down the
Roll.
street toward the city gates.
Morning comes, the sound of the city around you begins to stir as people once more pour into the Precipice Quarter, still faithfully and dutifully attending the festival that is now in full swing around you. The day is yours for the first few hours at least. But you do awake with a sense of excitement, looking forward to your meeting before you realize that you're short another goblin.
Is this unusual? Like when we normally wake up, would we normally see Penumbra doing like daily preparations or something?
Yes.
Or yeah, okay, so this is definitely abnormal that
His
like we look
complete
over and
absence.
you're gone.
Yeah, his complete absence is really unusual.
Okay. I think Dr. Forsyth wakes up and he'll look over to see if Bastro's awake since they're, just across the room from each other.
Yeah, Bastard's just gonna be like rubbing his eyes, just like trying to rub away the sleepiness from the night before. Hey, doctor, do you wait a minute? Where's Penumbra?
Yeah, I think after some time, the doctor's maybe been up for a little bit reading, and he looks over and says, he's not there. This is unusual. It's not quite like him. Did you hear him get up in the night?
No, I was sleeping like a log. I didn't hear him. I didn't hear anything. Maybe he's with Twinkle Toes. I don't know. We have no idea. Should we go knock on her door?
Yeah, the doctor will go knock on Twinkletoes' door, see if she's awake.
Bastard's
You
gonna.
hear snoring from inside.
It sounds like she's still asleep. I don't know if we should disturb her yet.
I'm gonna check the treasure room real quick, and Bastard's
Okay.
gonna go in the treasure room just to make sure that all of their options have been cleared. And I'm assuming, is there anything in the treasure room?
Just the
Well-
dragon.
Yeah.
Just the dragon.
Just the dragon.
Roll for initiative.
Also, the
He's
time
armed
card,
already. He's already
which he
dragon.
is punching into at the moment.
Doctor, he's not in
Um,
here. Just bang louder on the door. Just
Yeah,
wake
so
her up.
the doctor will, he'll start like pounding a little more aggressively on the door.
Eventually,
Twinkle-
it opens,
Twinkletoes.
and you look down to see a very, very like dark eye-bagged girl, or a little halfling girl, just very, very tired. Yeah.
Twinkletoes, I apologize for waking you up so early, but Penumbra appears to have gone somewhere. I think you spoke to him last before we went to bed.
All of his stuff is gone. Like,
Yeah,
it's
do
not
you
like he
know-
just left. He's gone.
Did you
She
hear
looks
him
like-
get up?
She pushes past the two of you and goes into the other room and starts looking for, to confirm what you have said.
Yeah.
Do I see any trace of him? Is any of his shit there?
None of Penumbra's personal belongings appear to be there, but you do see that the floorboards under where he had been sleeping, or at least where you left him sleeping, there seems to be about 3-foot long indentation where the floorboards have been cracked in.
What?
That
Twinkle
security
Toes, what did you
deposit
say to him?
done.
Like, did you insult him? Did you make fun of Shark or something? Like, what
Yeah,
did you do?
I actually said that his skin was really needed some treatment because his acne was getting no.
Yeah.
I asked him how he was doing.
He left because you said he was too ashy. That's how
No,
could
I
you?
didn't. I literally no. I asked how he was doing, and I told him not to skitter off because I wasn't ready to say goodbye to him yet.
What is this indentation? Could I roll some sort of check on the like this indent in the floor?
Roll a
Master
survival.
just lifts it up.
Survival? Okay.
You actually have to check.
That's a 22 survival.
22. I mean, there is a vague outline of a goblin as you are trying to like parse together what happens. It looks like you can see kind of like the center point of the cracks, and as it like at the lowest part along like what would be his spine as he was laying there, it kind of makes the slight indentation of a goblin like form, but you are unaware of anything that could have happened to him to do that without you having noticed it.
Bastro, this appears to be beyond my scientific understanding. Is there any magics that's going on here?
Yeah,
We would certainly have heard anything that would have done this.
Yeah, is there a way to identify magic, or I could cast?
Do you have detect magic?
Yeah, I do have detect magic.
Go ahead and use detect magic then. And let me just look up specifically,
Yeah, let me look that up real quick.
because we always kind of just hand wave it because it's a very basic spell, but it does have some specific.
So I send out like a pulse to sense presence of
Mhm.
magic,
Mhm.
and I don't receive any information beyond the presence or absence of magic, and so yeah, I guess all it means
Okay,
is that
so
I would tell whether or not it's
Yeah.
magical.
So you send out a wave, this like sonar pulse, out in 30 feet around you, and you recognize anything magical that's on Twinkle Toes. You recognize anything that's magical on Forsyth. You've seen that before. You recognize obviously the presence of your own magic. You don't, number one, recognize the presence of Penumbra's magic, which is one that you are familiar with. And two, you do sense a very strong magical aura kind of in the location, kind of imagine like walking into a room where incense had been burning like 2 hours before, and you get like that waft of smell. Like there's nothing actively causing the smell, but you can tell that somebody had
Like
been
something
burning
was
incense
there.
here.
Residual magic.
Yeah.
You kind of get
residual.
that feeling. You can go ahead and roll what you think might be an appropriate identification knowledge if you'd like to.
He picks up on a smell. What kind of smelly smell?
Smelly smell.
Sort of smelly smell that smells smelly.
Would that be like a divine roll or
Like a religion?
religion
Yeah.
roll, or
I think for you it would be, yeah.
yeah? Let me try. Oof, not good. That's 13.
13. You are able to sense that there is some kind of strong, very strong divine magic, but again, it's like an after image almost of this magic. Like when you stare at a light too long and then blink your eyes and the image is still there. So it's very difficult
Burned
to
into your retinas.
it's very, very difficult to identify specifically what's going on. You just have this sense that some very powerful divine magic had taken place in this spot.
Yeah, I told the group that all of that basically seems like Penumbra cast a pretty powerful spell, or maybe something beyond our understanding took him. I'm not sure, but all I know is there's a powerful source of magic here. And
In
it's
our
not something-
conversation last night, he said he was waiting for a sign. But the next sign, the next thing he was supposed to be doing.
And then you flipped him off? Was that the sign? Like, why is he gone?
That Bastro, I'm not sure what you think Twinkletoes said, but she already told you that she was being polite.
I feel like you're really hanging on to this whole Twinkletoes being an asshole
Yeah,
thing. I'm not sure.
like
why.
I don't know where you're getting. I don't know where you're picking up on this, but.
I'm just
kinda
very distraught right
You're
now.
kind of stuck there.
He just really
My-
needs to like
My
pin it on
divine casting
someone.
buddy is
Yeah.
gone. Who am I going to share my spells with?
Now you don't have to share spells.
Like what do we? The doctor is totally at a loss for what to do here.
It's
I mean,
like
he has.
Yeah, so just for a little bit more context, it's about 7 in the morning. You remember that your meeting with Isabella, as per the letter that you received either yesterday or the day before, was for today at 3 p.m. There was an address that was marked in the Eastgate district. So you would... That's a
How
little
long
bit of
does it
context.
take us to get to Eastgate?
Right. So I think, actually, Dr. Forsyth, I think you're the only one who would have a good estimation, having been to the Eastgate district, probably on one of your rounds, around the city doing hospital work. You would
You
guess.
think I, as a courier, I'm not familiar.
That's true. Although and tell me if I'm wrong, I'd assumed you'd spent most of your time in the districts that you grew up in. That could be wrong.
Yeah.
You probably might have done
Sometimes
a
people
few
had
jobs.
stuff to deliver outside of that district, though.
Yeah.
So.
But it's hard to tell because
From
you always went
Precipice.
there and back, and you've never gone from the Precipice Quarter to there.
That's true.
But you are the Eastgate district is directly to the north of the Precipice Quarter. You're not sure exactly where this location is, the address, but at least to get to the heart of the Eastgate district, you would assume it takes about an hour and a half just walking. Like that's just if you're like taking your time seeing the sights.
Okay. So yeah, the doctor now looks, at his two compatriots down from 4, and she just goes, "What do we do here? I mean, is he just gone? Do we look for him? What do we do? I've never seen something like this."
I don't even know where we would look for him. Do you know, like, his personal hobbies? Like, maybe he just... I mean, all of his stuff is gone, so I can't just assume that he just went out for a walk.
Well, have either of you been to his and Shock's place?
Oh, that's a good point. I have not. Have you?
Did I go? I think I went with them, didn't I?
I would assume you have been there before from your prior knowledge of Shark.
Oh yeah,
prior
I'm probably
relationship
with Shark. Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
I
I don't think anyone's been there in the context of the story. I don't think anybody like with it.
Yeah. But you're right. Yeah, I've been to Shark's in the Puddles. Yes, his apartment. Though I don't.
I was gonna say let's start there.
Would we have time to get to their apartment and back to Eastgate in time for our meeting today?
I don't know if we have time to go to the Puddles. The Puddles is like on the other
Yeah,
side
it's
of the
like
city.
2 hours to the Puddles, and then like another 3.5 to go literally across the entire horizontal length of.
I mean, you guys have
the
8
city.
hours, so like it's.
Yeah, so you could do it. It would take probably 6 or 7 hours, but you'd have to make that decision soon, and then that doesn't leave you much time if there is anything at Shark and Penumbra's apartment. That doesn't leave you much time to figure out what's going on there.
To do investigation shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that I think the doctor would unless Bastro and Twinkletoes don't want to, I think the doctor would be inclined to actually go check. I mean, just because Penumbra just vanishing like this right after his brother got in pretty big trouble, like Forsyth is concerned, so he wants
left
to.
no note or anything. Just
Yeah.
up and left.
Well, you're
So,
not exactly confident that either one of us know how to read or write, but
no scribbles of star bears or anything.
there's a star
They
chart
did
telling you
never
what.
give us a copy of what was it? The Goblins and the Pumpkin or something.
Pumpkin and the Ghost, Ghost and the Pumpkin.
The specter and the gourd, yeah.
Spectre and the Gourd. That's pretty good.
The knockoff, the off-Broadway knockoff.
Yeah, that's what the Kobolds were working on for years.
I think we should go maybe look in the puddles to see if we can find any sort of clue. I don't know. What do you think?
I agree. Bastro's down to go.
Yeah, we just got to make it quick.
Yeah, so I think that
Save a day with Isabella.
Sure.
With
So it,
with Twinkleton saying that, I think the doctor will like gather up his things and
Yeah.
make.
so as I
preparations
mentioned,
for
it takes about 2.5 hours to get across to the Puddles district. So you cross through, like, you know, the docks from the Precipice Quarter over through the docks into the Puddles, taking just the main street that runs through the heart. Takes about 2 hours because you're going again against all of the traffic of all of these people that are migrating into one district, the Precipice Quarter, from the entirety of the rest of Absalom, wherever they're staying, for the Radiant Festival. And all along the way, you're running into these like demonstrations, these performers, these smaller exhibits outside of the fairgrounds. So there's a lot of like sights to see where even if you're not making that conscious effort to like take in the sights, you still get distracted. So it does take a little bit more time. And you arrive, Dr. Forsyth, leading you to the apartment of Shark and Bear Thorngrabber, or Penumbra Thorngrabber.
Pen.
Pen.
Bruh.
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 And
When he signed the lease, he just did bruh.
you make it to the main entrance, the little like lobby way. You remember that they're like 12 stories up on these half-height stories for the goblin folk who live here. That they're pretty high up there. You ascend the stairs, you make it up to the 12th floor. Dr. Forsyth, you're the only one who's crouching in this condition due to the height differential between you and the rest of your companions.
Bastro's tall too.
Bastro's the same.
That's right.
Almost the same.
That's right.
It's just Twinkle.
Yeah,
Bastro's just not very
Twinkleton's the only one
threatening,
who's
so I think of him
Yeah.
as small.
What is Bastro's race again? I forget. What race
He's
is he?
a
He's a
half
halfling.
elf.
It's a half elf. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
you said Bastro, not Twinkle Toes.
You're both half. You both have
Twinkle
something.
Toes.
Half something.
Bastro's half elf.
So Forsyth and Bastro, you're like bending over as the staircase is like winding above you. You every once in a while nail your forehead on one of the ridges under the stairs. But Twinkletoes is just prancing up the stairs without any issue. You get to the 12th story. You arrive at 1216, the apartments of your goblin compatriots, and find a locked door.
Forsyth will knock.
You knock once, twice, 3 times, no answer.
Can I do a perception check?
Yeah,
Sure.
See if I
Bastard,
hear anything.
Bastard takes out the brass ear that he keeps on deck and he puts it up to the door.
Sure. Go ahead and roll
And
perception.
the doctor will roll 2. Dirty 20.
Dirty
A
20.
lot better than me. I got like a 14.
Yeah. So Bastro with his brass ear, Forsyth with his regular ear against the door. Nothing on the other side as far as you're able to tell.
Almost like a
I'm
deafening
gonna
silence.
take out my thieves' tools and try to pick the lock.
So go ahead and roll.
24.
24.
Oh,
Yeah, it's not a very
Noise.
well constructed lock. This is not necessarily a very secure neighborhood. You make your way in. The smell immediately hits you. It smells like there has been foodstuffs that have been untouched for about a week. Um, I mean, goblins aren't necessarily known for their hygiene to begin with.
It's the apartment of one goblin who's clinically insane and another one who's lived in the outside for multiple years.
Yeah.
So it is not a place that is well put together.
But it's a single like studio apartment, so everything is all there. You don't see any goblins. You see a bed, you see a shelf, a trunk, and like a pantry. That's about it.
Any notes? Any health potions?
Bastro checks the trunk.
Do you open the
Any
pantry?
health potions. Very specific, Emily Grace, that you would like to steal health potions from your friends. Yeah, go ahead and roll perception.
Me?
Anybody who's
Yeah.
searching for anything.
And do you open the pantry?
Do I? Who are you asking?
Anybody who's in the room. Do you open
Total
the
for
pantry?
an 8. Total of an 8. I rolled a natural 2.
I got 19.
I
rolled a-
I probably do open the pantry. Yeah.
What's in the pantry?
As soon as you open the pantry, there are roughly 18 to 20 goblins that come tumbling out of the pantry, all in various costumes. And they go, "Oh no, our rehearsal space! Oh god! Oh, how will we ever get the number correct this time?" And they all skitter off into the street, and they're gone.
Oh my god.
This is Pajama Sam. Oh my god.
I was expecting pumpkins to come tumbling out.
Yeah, pump.
Every goblin who falls out has a giant pumpkin on his head, and he like bumps into the door as he leaves.
And you open the chest, and ghosts pop out.
I rolled a 22, looking if there's like any sign that someone had been here in the last like 12 hours.
3 days.
Go ahead and roll a
3
survival
days.
if that's what you're looking for.
Okay.
I rolled a 19 to see if there's any like loot or money lying around.
Once again, I'm gonna
You're
question
straight
the
up gonna rob.
ethics of robbing your friend's
I
apartment.
mean, I just want to make sure he didn't leave for forever, you know? It'd be a good sign if he had left all of his money here. But
21 survival.
Well, Shark has been arrested, and this is Shark's apartment, not.
I think they both live here, basically.
As far as loot and or health potions and or money, you don't find anything. You find clothes and stale bread, some like rancid smoked meat in the pantry, like nothing of any real value or use. As far as if anyone's been here recently, no. It looks like nobody's been here in the past 4 days, which would line up with when around you purchased the apartment and Penumbra, and like with the dust accumulation and everything, you're able to tell like nobody's been here for like 5 days to a week, which matches up with the timeline where Penumbra and Shark moved into the apartment with you all.
Well, let's get going.
I do not know where to go from here. I suppose we go meet with Isabella and deal with this later. I don't.
Xavier,
He might just be
left.
gone.
He left for his next, whatever his deities have told him to do.
He might be with Isabella. We don't know. Like, maybe he just moved in with her. Like, maybe he just got really lucky.
He's
I-
making a move on Isabella behind my back. I will be very upset.
All's fair in love and dungeons.
Twinkle Toes starts power
Nope.
walking towards
Nope, can just avoid
towards
that one.
Eastgate.
I think the doctor takes one last look around, and I think he's just thinking about the like the last conversation he had with Penumbra, and he's just like Penumbra was the first person that the doctor had like revealed, like purposefully revealed, like a lot about his past to, and so he's like touching the ring of Aradin on his finger and just like thinking like where did he go, like like what? And he'll follow Twinkle Toes eventually.
Bastro?
I'm sorry, I wasn't even paying attention. Can you repeat that? My bad.
We're going to
Twinkle
we're
Toes and
going
Forsyth
to-
have walked out, heading towards the Eastgate District.
Okay, yeah, I follow. Sorry.
Are you guys gonna lock the door of Shark's apartment behind you as you leave it
Yes.
ransacked? Okay.
I mean,
Well, if you
there's
lock
nothing
it,
of value
the-
in there except for rancid meat, right?
Yeah.
Well, you don't know what inherent
the
value
goblin
rancid meat
has
has
a
to goblins.
delicacy. Yeah.
Fair enough.
That's
There's
high
also
value
moldy
stuff.
bread. That's a steal.
Plus, if you lock it, like, how are those goblins going to get back to rehearse? You know.
That's true.
we locked them out. We locked them out.
They weren't paying rent.
You don't know that.
All right, yeah. So we make our way over to Isabella.
Yeah, so this time-
Doctor follows Twinkle Toes.
This time as you're going, you pass partially through the docks, but then you make your way up north through the Coins. The Coins being the central mercantile district of Absalom. And as you're passing through, not only do you see the shops that have popped up along the street and marketplaces from all around the continent due to the Radiant Festival, but also the many grand shops of Absalom's coin district, where if there was anything, you could find everything that you would ever want. Is there any shopping you would all like to do?
No, we need to get to our date with Isabella.
I mean, we have time,
Yeah.
right? I think.
How much time do we have? What time is it?
Spend maybe 15 minutes there. It takes you about 3 hours to get across the city. It took you about 2, so 3, so 5, so 15. I'd say you've got about an hour and a half of extra time to be there exactly at 3 o'clock.
I don't have a lot of money.
Yeah, the only thing that the doctor wants to purchase is like he needs to save up for, so he's not looking to spend any
Fair enough.
money.
Yes, yeah, same actually.
Well, you all note some of the shops of interest. You walk by and see these beautiful gleaming dresses that sparkle in the sunlight, and see these master jewelers with magical and mundane rings of all shapes and varieties with gemstones from far lands. You see spices of every color piled high on street corners. The wondrous smells of foreign foods, things that you could only dream of having tasted, waft across as different smells as you turn every corner. This place it's Absalom. This is the culmination of culture from every corner of the globe, and you are in the biggest marketplace in the world. But you pass it by as you continue about your objective. Eventually, making your way down into the Eastgate District.
Walking fast, faces past.
But you're not
And I'm
homebound.
Down, that down.
Do-do-do-do-do-do.
And I need you.
Eventually,
We do need you, Penumbra. We need you.
And I miss you.
that too. Eventually, you do make it to the Eastgate District, a very stark change of pace. Forsyth and Twinkle Toes would probably know this, but Eastgate is where you go if you want to be in the city, but be a little bit more residential, a little quieter, a little bit more suburban, almost. What normally would be long streets full of row houses are the occasional townhouse or 3 with gardens and parks and trees that abound in mini forests, actual nature seeping in between the buildings, and what is square miles and miles of district is almost more like little mini villages that are scattered inside this quarter's walls. It's a nice change of pace for you nature lovers who you get out of the press of the city and you have almost a small town feel as you make it your way into the Eastgate District. But immediately along the inner wall, as it butts up against the Coins, you still have the city amenities with the main streets and the marketplaces, the inns and taverns, the shops, smelteries, forges, and blacksmiths. But as you make your way towards your predetermined location, maybe asking a few locals, hey, do you recognize this address here? Could you point us to where we're going? One of them tells you, yes, in fact, I do know that address. It's an inn, actually. An inn by the name of the Gilded Glass. The Gilded Glass is, well, similar to the feel of this district. More closely resembling a, 4-bedroom inn at your, one crossroad town out in the middle of the Varisian forest. It's simpler, less extravagant, less busy, less populated. And as you make your way there, you see the shape of a mug, a clear glass stein that has been burnt into a wooden sign with brilliant gold filigree that makes swirling patterns along the outside of the stein, indicating the, gilded nature of the glass. You make your way in to find only 4 figures seem to be here. One, a tiefling man with light pink skin behind the bar, stubby little horns poking out from under a beret as he goes about cleaning what looks to be actually, relative to their namesake, decent glassware that he's just setting up, getting ready, stacking in trays on trays as he gets ready for the evening rush. At the bar are 2 patrons. And the 4th is a server, a younger human woman who seems to be taking orders from those at the bar, running it back and forth to the kitchen, bringing out bread and fruit and cheese for the patrons.
And what time is... Oh.
It's about 2 o'clock, so probably about, you guess, about an hour until your designated meeting. What would you all like to do?
I think the doctor goes, and I think he'll sit at the bar and just seeing that Isabella's not there. And I think he just takes out one of his doctor notebooks, his medical notebooks, and just starts writing. And I think he's trying to plot out any sort of theory about where Penumbra might have gone. It's really not sitting well with him that Penumbra just left.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough.
Yeah, Bastard's gonna sit at the bar next to the doctor and just order a drink, and then he's gonna be sipping on it, just kind of looking around the room, seeing who's there.
The pink-skinned tiefling man before you kind of halts in his polishing as you all take your seats. Welcome to the Gilded Glass. Is there anything that I can get for you today?
Yeah.
Yes.
You serve food here, yeah, as well as
We
drinks.
can round up something that I think would suit your palate nicely. Yes.
Fantastic. All right, I'm looking for some lunch and whatever drink you think would pair best with it.
We've got a
Sure, put it in
fine
order.
beef stew going in the back,
Perfect. That sounds
and a
Absolutely
hearty ale
wonderful.
with that might wash down nicely.
I'll
So
take
that'll
an ale,
be-
please.
wonderful.
3 stews, 3 ales, and potentially more to come.
Hopefully.
Oh,
All
I
right.
am not. I'm not going to be eating or drinking. Thank you. And he doesn't even look up. He's staring down through his spectacles at his notebook, just writing.
Fair
Just
enough.
2 of you for now. Then
And he
actually,
calls over.
still 3 ales, but
still,
just the 2
still.
stews.
I like the way you think.
It
And
became
he
one of those
says,
mornings.
Penelope, grab 2 of the stews, and he grabs 3 steins. Turns around to the barrel behind him, popping the cask and fills them, brings them back, and so what brings you to the Gilded Glass? Anything particular, or am I just lucky to meet you all today?
Well, we've actually got a meeting with a friend later.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, it's very nice to make our way out here. We don't get out to Eastgate very often.
Not many people do, surprisingly. It's very close to, well, most of the major districts, but some people just don't like the slower lifestyle we have out here. Yeah.
It makes for a nice change, but you know, I think a lot of people come to this city for that busyness, so it's a bit off-putting to have so much rural in the city, you know?
Fair enough. Well, certainly not the coins, but we get by.
Well, I like it out here. What was your name? I didn't catch it.
Gilderoy. Gilderoy of the Gilded Glass.
Nice. Amazing. Well, my name is Twinkletoes. This is my friend Bastro, and my friend who with his nose in the book over there is Dr. Forsyth.
Well, Dr. Forsyth, Bastro, and Twinkletoes, it is a pleasure to meet your acquaintance. He gives a slight bow. The black hair, about 5 or 6 inches of this black hair that's been gelled back, kind of flops forward over the horns as he bows, and then flops back up as he goes fully standing again.
I imagine like the hairpiece from the Duke of Wesselton from Frozen, like the
Yo.
floppy.
It's Wesselton.
And
Sorry.
says, I'm glad you chose, or at least your friend chose, the Gilded Glass. Let me know if there's anything else I can do for you. And he goes back to dutifully preparing for whatever constitutes for a rush for him. You all have anything else you'd like to do, talk about before your determined time of meeting?
No, I think the doctor's fine to just hang out,
Should-
wait for Isabella.
Should we tell Isabella about our missing goblin friend?
Why it's gonna be
Number?
obvious, I think.
Please. I
He's
think we
obviously
will-
been kidnapped, and
If
we
she
have to
doesn't
look
ask,
for him.
I'll have a lot of questions.
Yeah, like the last time we met, there were 5 of us. Now there are 3. We're gonna have to do a little bit of explaining, I think.
I mean, she might know about Shark already, but the number is
That's
more of a
true,
mystery.
As he
Yeah,
always has been.
well,
He's been goblin napped.
I don't think he has been goblin napped. I don't believe anything nefarious has happened. I think he's just gone.
And
Yeah,
as
I
you
guess
all
Bastro waits.
ponder
Twinkletoes is not happy, by the way. Like,
as you all ponder the existential difference between being goblin napped versus just being gone, eventually the door rings, the bell over it the bell over it chiming the entrance of a tall, slender woman dressed in a teal ankle-length dress with the heavy clunk of a polearm hitting the wooden floorboards before her, the heavy wooden door slamming behind. And you are greeted once again with the figure of Isabella, who sees you, turns to the right, grabbing a table, and just kind of makes a motion with a lazy motion with her hand for you to follow. She takes a seat
I
at
grab my drink and stew and go join her.
a
Actually,
round
I
table
finished my
that
stew by then.
somehow perfectly only has 4 chairs.
Nice.
I head over.
She holds up another finger, and Gilderoy says, "Ah, Isabella, was wondering when you'd show up." And then seeing that you all are going over to meet her, it says, "Oh, it was Isabella that you were meeting." That makes sense. You all look like sturdy folk. I'll just grab another round then, and grabs a tray and stacks 3 more mugs and a glass, a wine glass, where he then pours out more drinks, bringing the tray over to your table. Is there anything else I can get for you, Isabella? She looks up and says, No, I think I'm quite all right. I've already had lunch, but the wine will do just nice, thank you. Gilderoy, oh, okay, yes, of course. Enjoy, thank you. And goes back to his bar top. Isabella swirls a bit, waiting for you all to get settled in. Good. I was worried after, you all were there. After everything that happened at the Royal Rumble, that you wouldn't be able to make it. Speaking of, where are the brothers?
Well, after the Royal Rumble, our dear friend Shark decided the bodyguard of Jeremy Hoff would make for a tasty snack. So the police didn't like that very much. So he is currently in prison, and
Oh, my dear.
and his brother is missing in action.
Missing.
Presumed
Yeah.
kidnapped.
He woke up this
Presumed
morning
kidnapped.
and he was gone. No, I think he.
You do realize the whole reason I've called you here is because there's been a rash of missing persons cases that I need help
Like
with.
the one
That's
person
why I'm
you
glad
don't
we're
want to
That's
falsely
why I'm
accuse of
glad
kidnapping. I'm
That's-
assuming you're wondering why I've brought you here today, Isabella.
Oh, that's just starting rumors. I love it.
He told me last night that he was waiting for a sign, and when we woke up, he was gone. I am assuming he got the sign he was waiting for.
Yes, it appears he just left.
So I shouldn't add him to the list.
Whatever list. Oh, the kidnapped people. No.
I just want to be very clear
Maybe not yet.
that this
not yet.
is explicitly what I deal with. And I need you in no uncertain
I mean-
terms to tell
he
me
is gone,
whether
and we
or
don't
not
know
you
where he
think
went.
he has been kidnapped or whether you think he left of his own accord. Those are two very different things,
We
and
have
I need
two
you to be very
suspicions.
clear with me.
He was kidnapped, or Twinkle Toes pissed him off and he just left. We don't-
You
my
keep saying
don't know.
kidnapped.
You guys basically just walked into a hospital and you were like, "Help, my friend's been shot." And then they said, "Where's your friend?" And they said, "Don't worry about it." And then you ran out of the hospital. That's what you just did.
To be clear, Bastard did.
None of your business, and then left.
I am just going to assume that from what you've told me, he was with you all for the night. None of you heard or saw anything, and then he was gone. Is that correct?
He may have turned into a floorboard or something. It's unclear what happened really, but
I can't imagine the process it would take for a goblin to turn into a floorboard.
we don't know either. That's
Some intense
Anyway.
divine magic energy was definitely involved in that transformation.
Bastard did get a very magical sense of the floorboards. So
Fair enough.
What's one striking floorboard?
Wait, you said it was divination magic? Is that what you said?
Correct.
Well, divine magic, I think.
Divine magic.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
Those
Once
are
again, two very different things.
different things.
Well, I'm not going to put him on the list yet. But if you have some actual evidence that he might have been kidnapped,
We
we'll
will
consider
get
that.
back to you on that.
Now,
Tear up the floorboard.
I suppose you were wondering why I've brought you here.
We were just flattered to receive an invitation, obviously. But yes, we were also curious about the reasons, of course.
Well, unfortunately, my sponsor, my superior, has returned to Absalom from his trip to Cheliax. And I have told him that you all are trustworthy, but he wanted to vet you for himself, meet you in person, see you with his own eyes. So, bring you to him I will. But I should warn you all that
I lean
he's...
forward and I say, "Is it Gilderoy?"
No, it's not Gilderoy. He works here full time. He doesn't have time to
All
take
right.
trips to Cheliax.
Well, I
As
didn't
much
know
as
if
he'd
was,
like to, he
undercover
just doesn't get
or
vacation
something.
days, and he's got a terrible pension, no sick time. It's rough.
He works in a bar and he's got a pension.
No, he doesn't have it. That's the problem. He doesn't have a
Oh.
pension.
He just has a bad pension. I was like a bad pension over no pension. But anyway,
Irregardless, even.
regardless.
Let's take a moment. Did you all... What happened exactly? I've only heard rumors of things that have gone on with the Rumble. What all happened there?
Well, we won the first 2 rounds like easy, and we were
You
in
all were
our
participating, yes?
yes. We were representing Princess Puddles.
Yes, I heard the descriptions, and well, I didn't think it was you all, but prove me wrong, I suppose.
Wasn't me.
The doctor puts it under the table, offers a fist bump to Bastra.
Yeah.
As 3 of you
Definitely
were in disguises, yes.
reciprocated.
The 3 of us were in disguises. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Oh yeah,
You're-
all 3 before. That's
But
right.
you were still Twinkle Toes.
I was
The last
a
Atlantean.
Well, they didn't, like,
the fallen
narrate
angel.
your names,
Fist bump.
but...
much glammed up version.
Flashier.
Anyway,
Yeah.
yes. I digress.
Sparkle Toes.
So yeah, exactly. So we won the first 2 rounds. The second one was against the Copper Hand, and then we after we beat them, we were going into our 3rd round, and the Copper Hand just seems to not be very happy that we beat them. So they decided to sort of, blow up the box that had all of the important people that were there, and make off with the prize money. And that was Alamure, Fortuna Alamure, who did that, by the way.
Fair enough. And then
Did
you
I get
mentioned-
everything?
You mentioned something about Shark nearly killing a man.
Oh yes. Well, one
That
of
happened after, yes.
one of those important people that were in the exploded box was what's his name? The guy we've been looking for.
Jeremy Hoff.
Jeremy Hoff. That's right.
He was there.
He was there.
Yes.
Yes.
He was.
Yeah.
We chased after him.
Okay.
He was one of the sponsors for it.
You chased after him?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did
Well,
you
after the
catch him?
explosion, things sort of went to chaos. So we
I can imagine after a bomb went off.
We nearly
Yeah.
caught him.
Nearly.
What?
But
But
Shark.
instead, Shark's teeth caught his bodyguard.
Yes.
Tit for tat, I suppose.
It got caught. Where? Friedrich's teeth. It's from Sound of Music. Anyway.
What a neat reference. What a thing no one has ever seen. Sound of Music. Completely unknown musical.
Are you kidding me?
I love the
Everyone
movie. Haven't
sings
heard of the
Sound
musical.
It's from the movie.
She says yes. Jeremy Hoff. It seems to be the common thread here, and that's exactly why we need to talk to Desmond.
Say Desmond.
Wait, yeah, did you say Desmond?
I think he left the shark to prison.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's in prison also.
What do you mean? No, he just got back from Cheliax.
No, Shark's familiar. He's in prison
Yeah,
with Shark.
the little green blob.
Desmond
That's
is
your
certainly
boss?
not Shark's familiar.
Well, they share the same
And
name.
it's like we have two Desmonds then.
Desmond
That's
feeds
impossible.
shark potion.
Not possible to have two Desmonds in the world. It's not possible.
You'd be surprised how many Twinkle Toeses there are out there, actually.
Yes, I know like 4. Regardless,
Most popular name among you.
it sounds like our next step is just to see what he knows. So if you all will follow me, and she like slams the glass of wine, puts it back on the tray, and stands up, polearm in hand, this beautiful halberd that has like the axe head is like filigreed with waves that like break along the blade, and the back like spiked portion looks to be like a shark fin like poking out of the waves. Beautiful halberd that she's just casually carrying with her with like no armor, just a dress, just a teal dress, that she's like a day dress that she's walking around in. She like
Restrained.
once again like slams it, stands up from the table, and begins walking out.
We follow
Yep.
Okay. So you'll follow
after
her.
we have paid for our drinks and food.
You all paid for the first round. It didn't seem like you needed to pay for the second.
Isabella got clout.
So you all follow, and she makes quick time. She is probably like an inch or two shorter than Forsyth, or Bastro, whoever's taller. I always forget your heights. She's like 5'10", so not short for a human woman by any standard.
Tall for a human woman.
Yeah, tall even, one might say. But walks even more briskly than one might imagine for someone of her stature. And seems to have decent stamina as well, because you all walk for a good 3.5 miles up to a northern parts of the Eastgate district. And as you get far, it's like northeast. So as you get farther and farther out, there's like more and more nature, fewer and fewer houses. It gets to the point where you have these like small cottages that dot the intersections of these dirt roads that go through, which is just like, it's this really strange feeling, because you can look east of you and you see the wall of Absalom right over there. Then you look west of you and you see the entirety of like the coins and the like populated section of Eastgate. And here you are standing across from 3 cottages that are like 100 feet apart from each other.
That's pretty cool.
It's
Weird.
really weird. It's like
Yeah.
being out in the countryside, except you are in a literal massive city.
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's got like hedgerows and everything. Like, what more could you ask for? And eventually, you happen upon a small, it's not Waddle and Daub, but like any like British like house that has that like the wooden beams with that white plaster almost. It's like one of those deals.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't know what the actual architecture is called.
The British cottage type.
Yeah, it's like a little
Like,
cottage.
Tudor? Is it Tudor style? Is it Tudor?
Maybe, I don't know. If you imagine Arthur Dent's house from Hitchhiker's Guide, the movie, it's that, but one story. And you see that there is like a small fireplace off to the side that is currently lit as you see the smoke wafting up. There's a little tomato garden as you enter into the wooden gate, past the hedges, into the wooden gate, into the little yard in front as you're walking this cobblestone pathway up to the front door. You see a flower bed even adjacent to the door. A very picturesque location, despite this perceived stature of the man you're about to meet. You knock on the door and you hear the disgruntled sound, or Isabella, I should say, knocks on the door. You hear the disgruntled sound of a man on the other side. Is that you, Isabella? She says, yes, it is. I've brought What are you all calling yourselves now? The Secreteers? Is that it?
The Secreteers.
I
yeah,
brought
think
the
that's what that-
Secreteers with me. The ones you wanted to meet. Give me a second here. Gotta get all dressed up now. And after a few moments, you hear a heavy latch being slid across on the other side and the sound of a chain clicking out of a bolt hole. A heavy knob is turned and opened, and on the other side you see a rather weathered man. A human male, looks to be maybe late 50s, early 60s, but with just a number of deep scars across his face. He looks weathered. He's got, like, heavy bags under his eyes. You see that his hair is nearly shaved completely off, but there's, like, some stubble, and you see once more just, like, scars running along the side of his head, blocking hair from growing in those spots. He's wearing what looks to be like a loose, like almost teal tunic over just woolen breeches. Doesn't look like he's too dressed up right now. And he's got a simple like leather belt with some pouches on the side. He says, "Come in, come in." And as he fully opens the door for you all to enter, you notice that on his left leg is like linen bandages that have been wrapped all the way down from hip to knee. And it looks like on the side there is not fresh, but like a large blood stain running across along the side of his thigh, left thigh. That is like starting to soak through the bandages.
Okay.
He limps a little bit as he makes his way to the center of this cottage. It's a simple affair, save for an interesting wall along the back of the cottage from the door. As you enter, there's, as I mentioned, the fireplace. There's also a stove on the left-hand side of the cottage, a like kitchen station where he's got a fire set up with a pot over it, a number of chairs that are seated in like a semicircle around the fireplace, and then a simple straw bed mat placed along the back wall, above which is a map of Absalom, where you can see a number of nails have been nailed into the wall on this hand-drawn map of Absalom along the plaster. The nails are painted red, presumably to indicate locations of interest. And you see twine that has been strung between the nails, running across, almost trying to make some sort of pattern out of the random locations across Absalom.
And they make a star and then a bear. And Penumbra emerges from the map.
Cracked it.
Whoa!
Called it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That would require good story writing, and you're not going to find that here.
Youch!
He gestures to the empty chairs. He only has two, save for the rocking chair that he sets himself in next to the currently active fireplace. He grabs like a metal poker as he's like rocking and just kind of pushes another log from the ledge of the fireplace in and pokes around, messes with it. So, y'all are the ones that been helping Isabella out with her job, huh?
I feel like she's been helping us more than we've been helping her, but yeah, that's us.
Now, she says, she's been telling me at least since I got back, that she's been a bit overwhelmed as late with And he like gestures with this now red hot gleaming poker, lazily just gestures back at the map behind him with all the disappearances. Then back into the fire. Says you might have met a couple people that's been affected by it, huh? That one kid, what's his name? And he like snaps looking at Isabella.
Eunice?
Like, what's his name?
Poor Eunice.
Eunice,
Yeah.
that's the one. Kid that's working at the grocer now.
Yeah.
And Knights and his zoo or whatever.
Yes, there have been a number of people we've come across.
So what's, in your estimation, what's the situation so far from what y'all have seen?
From what we have seen, there is a lot going on in the Precipice District with this fair. And there are people who are using that chaos to kidnap, to disrupt.
Take advantage of others.
Yeah.
All right, well, we do unfortunately live in a world where somebody's always out to get you. I can agree with that. Unfortunately, I think the situation here is a bit more, a bit more concerted than that. There's a bit more intent behind it. Once more, the poker, red hot, just comes flying out and pointing back at the wall behind him. Bit more intent behind what we got going on. Now,
Will, could I roll like a society check on this guy?
what are you trying to find out about him?
Well, if there's anything I've heard about him, does he have? Did you say he had on similar markings as Isabella? Like,
You don't see any similar markings per se. He is wearing similar colors. Like he's got like a teal tunic on, that is similar to like some of the colorations of the outfits that Isabella has worn, and it is the same color. Forsyth, you would remember, as the livery on her armor that she showed up the first time you met her, but it does not have any designations on it.
Well, then I'll hold off for now. Then actually,
Okay.
I'll hold off.
Fair enough. Now, before I get too much more in depth about it, I do have, let's call it a process for finding people to work with. Let's call it an interview, perchance. Now, if you don't mind, and he mutters under his breath a bit.
Oh.
And as he does so, you all feel
Will save?
an emanation
Totally
coming
casting
from
Zone
him.
of Truth.
And I'd like everyone to roll a will save.
Oh man,
Zone of Truth. That's what I think's happening right now.
that's so cool.
What did everyone get?
22.
22? 19? Bastro? Will save?
19 also.
19 also. So all of those were normal failures. As the effect of a Zone of Truth spell
Nice.
takes hold on you. The targets can't speak any deliberate and intentional lies and takes a -2 status penalty to deception checks. So keep that in mind. You can choose not to speak, but there may be other ramifications of that.
Yeah, you can still plead the fifth.
Yes.
Cool.
The first thing he says,
I don't know if an NPC has ever cast Zone of Truth on me before in my history of playing RPGs.
Yeah, it's a little uncomfy. I don't know if I like
Yeah, right?
it. Yeah.
Well, you might consider that the next time you want to cast it.
Yeah, maybe.
The first thing that he
I
says.
feel like I'm playing Truth or Dare. I love it. Let's go.
Right? A little bit.
Now, a very important few questions to ask you. And I very much appreciate that you answer them. You might have noticed that I'm taking precautions. If you
The
don't...
doctor really quickly mutters under his breath to Bastro, drop the Penumbra kidnapping thing. It's not going to be worth lying about.
Who's lying?
I would impress upon you the importance of answering, and answering truthfully. Now,
I think we all appreciate your care.
are any of you natives of Cheliax?
No.
No.
Nope.
Good. Good. Do any of you have any dealings with Lord Mayor Barzillai Thrune?
Have I ever heard that name before?
Never
Yeah, does that
heard
name
this
mean
guy.
anything?
Go ahead and roll a society check.
Yeah, okay. I'm rolling rocks tonight. So
Oh.
27.
Natural 1. The first time I ever heard that name.
27 from Xavier, natural 1 from Bastro, and
21.
21. So I'll start with Emily Grace, with Twinkle Toes. You would know the name Thrune as the surname of the ruling family of Cheliax. Dr. Xavier Forsyth, being a little bit more politically minded, perhaps, would know that Lord Mayor Barzillai Thrune is the mayor of the city of Kintargo, a major city in Cheliax. Can't remember off the top of my head if it's the capital, but if it's not the capital, it's one of the major cities of Cheliax.
Sure, okay. It's an oddly specific question.
It is an oddly specific question.
I've got his process.
Good. None of you... No. And none of you have been hired by anyone suspected to be of Chelaxian descent for any jobs in your history.
Isabella, are you of Chelaxian descent?
Yes, actually, but
Then yes,
don't
we have
count.
been hired by
Don't
someone
count
of
me.
Chelaxian.
Actually, when he asks that.
Dr. Forsyth can't say anything other than yes, Isabella is Chelaxian and she hired us. You're magically compelled to say that.
And then he
Yeah.
just rolls his eyes and says, outside of Isabella. Not counting her.
No.
Not to my knowledge.
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. All right. Final question. Do any of you have any dealings with a man by the name of Rickamar Alampsanor? Or any
What is-
members of the Order of the Rack?
Say that name one more time, please.
Rickamar Alampsanor.
Is
The
it-
order
Excuse
of
me,
the Rat.
Alamansor. Alamansor.
I'll roll a society on that again as well.
Sure.
May I also?
Sure. You're all hearing this, so you're all
Natural 19.
total of
Yeah. Got an 18.
24.
24. And Forsyth,
21.
21. Both of you would know. He said, with any dealings with Rickamar Alamansor or the Order of the Rack, you would recognize the Order of the Rack as an additional Hell Knight order. You are not familiar with the name of the specific person he mentioned.
And I do not believe I've had any dealings with him, no.
Never heard of him. But.
Who?
Or, wait, no, I have. Had I heard
Well, I
him?
guess I have, yeah. I guess I've heard of
I
him.
heard of the Order of the Rack, but not of him. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Heard of the Order of the Rack, never met them, don't know who he is.
All
Yeah.
right. Very good. And you feel the weight of the zone of truth imparting its magical exceptions to your speech dissipate as he
Wait,
drops
that's
the
it?
spell.
You're not gonna like ask us if any of us have a crush on you or like have fun with it?
Why would I do that? That
because
seems.
it's fun.
That
We are
seems.
called the secret
Can
tiers.
you magic?
Secret,
Like,
secret sharing is kind
Right.
of our thing.
I
This is
know
secret
that
sharing.
sharing is
Oh,
my
no.
favorite thing.
I'm
Literally,
aware.
it's our thing.
It just seems like a really weird question to ask. Like, Zone
Can
of
I-
Truth is already like a real questionably ethically sound spell to use. But then if you were just to, like, abuse the trust that that imparts by asking very personal questions outside of things that are directly relevant to your relationship, like, it just seems like
Well,
an
you
abuse of
could-
power.
You could
that
have
I
said
don't
like
want
you don't have
embarked
to
upon.
answer this one if you don't feel comfortable doing it. But
Well, you could
like,
always do that
does
with Zone of
anybody have a
Truth.
crush on me? Like, because then I could have been like, wow, I'm gonna seize this opportunity to confess my feelings for this man I just met.
Well, it
I
seems
don't
like you
feel
got a lot to
safe.
say, Twinkle Toes. Got anything you want to get off your chest?
Isabella, I think you're really pretty.
She blushes and turns her head. Um, now,
That was all just a pretext to.
like, doesn't even need the Zone of Truth. Just wanted an excuse. Like,
yeah.
um, she, as I mentioned, blushes, turns her head.
Who were those names? Why is that? Why were any of those people relevant? I never.
If you don't know them, it's not, and that's what matters.
But you do know that now that we do know those names, we're exceptionally curious.
You can be curious all you want. Doesn't mean I'm gonna tell you anything. Y'all seem
Yeah.
like sharp individuals. I'm sure you figure it out eventually, but I don't care if you do. It's more the fact that you don't know right now.
Why are we here?
Precisely. Now,
That's both the doctor asking and Ben
you
asking.
raise an interesting segue. Now, Isabella has informed me that you have put some pieces of this increasingly complex puzzle together, and for the fourth time, the red hot poker comes flying out and points to the map behind him, and then goes back into the fire. And it seems like all the threads are aligning at this man Jeremy. Where have you heard this name before?
Ooh. First he didn't he organize the houses for the people I'm not being very specific right now.
No,
But-
this is actually less than helpful, but continue.
So there were some workers at the Firefly Pagoda who were upset with their housing situation, and Jeremy was supposed to hook them up with some new housing, I believe.
Involved
and then
in the shady deal that was struck with them. Yes.
Mhm. And then the second time, I wasn't there actually. I don't know what the other one was. Were you there?
So Twinkletoes found out about the fact that Jeremy negotiated the illegal contract to underpay the kobolds.
Yeah.
That was brokered between the kobolds and the Minkai Assembly.
Right.
Dr. Forsyth and the goblins, Bastard was already also part of that conversation with Tinkletoes. Dr. Forsyth and the goblins found out from the hostage workers that Jeremy Hoff was the man who the missing persons had gone to find new lodging on the night they went missing. So you explain all of that to
Yes.
Yeah.
Desmond? Or the man you
Also,
presume
thank
to be
you for the
Desmond.
reminder.
Yeah.
He says, "Sounds about right." Jeremy is an influential man in the underworld of
Oh,
Absalom.
we also, I forgot to mention this. We were part of the Royal Rumble, and he was there. He was probably like sponsoring another group or something.
Hmm.
We know he works out of the House of Plains as well. If
Yes.
that matters.
Very good. That was going to be my next point. Now, I've been to the House of Plains a few times, searching for some people in the past. They're not too keen on having me return, though. I've pissed off one too many of the people who are regulars there to be let in with any good favor. Same with Isabella. So it seems appropriate that you all might have a way in. Now, the House of Plains requires
Invitation only.
invitation only. So you all are worth your salt.
So you're gonna have to pick it up, sir. We're obviously much smarter than you think we are.
I'm sorry, I'm just not trying to leave y'all in the dust.
I appreciate it.
But if you prefer doing this on your own, I'm happy to oblige.
No.
Nope.
That's
We're
what I thought.
fools, actually.
That's what I thought. Now, I've never been privy to an invitation myself. But I still managed to get in. There's a way. But you're gonna have to run through some of the Absalom underground itself to get there. That's the dangerous part. I'm thinking y'all might need a little bit more help.
Suddenly, the three of you hear a very loud knocking at the door.
Here, bang, bang, bang. And that's where we're gonna take a break. I will see all of you back in just a few minutes. We'll call it 9:10 Eastern Standard Time. See you back here in about 17, 18 minutes. Appreciate you all watching with us. We'll be right back in just a bit. Don't go anywhere.
Okay, anyway.
See you soon.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for joining us for the second half of our stream today. So, why don't we just jump right back in with another cue.
That gorgeous theme music we
Oh, it's so cool.
Beautiful.
So cool. So, last we left off, you all met with Isabella's boss, superior, patron. You're not quite sure of the relationship there, but somebody that Isabella trusts and who is apparently her mentor at the very least, whoever she's working for. He asks you some strange and oddly specific questions under a Zone of Truth spell to ensure that your answers were truthful. And he mentioned that he does in fact know of this Jeremy Hoff, this man who you all have been tailing, and might have an answer, but he's concerned that getting there might be a little bit hard for you. Upon which, there was a knock on the door, and we black out.
Remember my exile like it was only yesterday. My tribe moves through a territory unfamiliar to most, in search of something our leader would tell us nothing about. Where my story begins, the forest widens into a dark green expanse of thick foliage and twisting vines. The swishing sound of the leaves against each other echoes among the quiet of the southern sodden lands, at least in this area. The scaled shaman is usually safe through here, but it's unlike us to not be thorough. Even though I am usually the closest to him, the god has sent me to the very front. Is this a sign of my improvement? Perhaps it is an omen of danger. In any case, my eyes are sharpest, and I am pleased to receive a new responsibility. I signal to my compatriots that it is time to divert from the path. This trodden ground is too hard to defend, and the shaman says the gold scale does not bless it. As the caravan heads to the right, I position myself to guard it and allow my brothers to establish a point. From my perch in the trees, I see little but birds and signs of wind rippling through the swamp. 3 other guards stride off to the left of the caravan beneath my post, and the youngest calls to me. "Quickfoot, we suspect kobolds in a cave to the east. We must root them out." My surprise betrays my mind. Kobolds, this far to the west. I drop from the tree line and follow my brothers on their investigation. The cave they show me to is at the bottom of a small hill, sloping down into a ravine. Perfect cover for a small band of kobolds, it would seem. As we approach the cave, another of the rangers turns to me. "Captain, might it be wiser for you to take your post up here? We 3 will scout ahead and signal for you." At this my suspicion rears its head once more, but I nod and draw my bow. The shining ivory flexes as I half-knock an arrow and crouch. The men, only boys but months ago before all this travel, close in on the mouth of the cave. But without signal, they rush in squealing and hollering. Short swords slashing and the screeches of something fill the air. Not kobolds. My feet fly me over the underbrush, and I quickly uncover some vain quest for false glory, as the boys are slaughtering a tribe of velociraptors, with mothers and younglings among them. I call to them, "Stop this! Stop this at once! What have these proud creatures done to deserve this?" "They are kobolds, Captain. We are sworn to destroy the false drakes." His insubordination in disobeying my orders astounds me, but I'm too late. The creatures are mostly dead or dying. The smell of carnage burns my nostrils and my throat grows raw, shouting for them to stop. So at some point my arms hang at my sides and I sink to my knees. The fools sprint out of the cave in glee, but I remain, turned into whichever raptors still scream. I still hear them at times before I bed down to sleep. But eventually they all pass on to the gold scale skies, and I wander out in a haze back to the caravan, now camped as the late afternoon sunset begins. I lumber into the camp and my tribe stares at me like a foreign beast. The 3 foolish boys are pleading their case directly to the scaled shaman, but I walk straight up to them, ignoring the customary bows to our leader, and lay my hands upon the eldest, as I toss him to the ground and draw claws to strike at him, shouting all the while, "They were defenseless animals! Youths and mothers! Beasts, all of them! You cut them down for nothing!" My arm is caught, and I'm pulled down from all sides and pinned before the shaman. He leans over me and hisses, "These men have informed me of your treason. You failed to strike down these kobolds and expose this caravan to undue danger at the hands of our sworn enemy. This shall never be forgotten." His voice grows into a booming shout. "Captain Quickfoot, I strip you of your given name and bestow upon you the mark of the Black Scale. Depart this tribe now, and never return to our sight." As ordered, I have never returned to my tribe. I have yet to return to any sodden lands, and search now for my own way back into the gold scale's grace, so I may see my tribesmen again in the great sky someday.
We return to the inside of Desmond's cottage. 3 sharp, swift raps upon the door, and the man seated in the rocking chair before you gives a quizzical look. "Isabella, if you wouldn't mind taking a look at that, see who's outside." Isabella
Were you not
quickly...
expecting guests?
Not besides you all.
So
Isabella...
when you said we need help, you weren't foreshadowing this exact moment?
I can't imagine how I would have known somebody would show up on my doorstep, unannounced, uninvited.
Just seems incredibly coincidental and just
Could just be the mail. Isabella walks over, like, pulls a curtain from the window beside, kind of cocks her head, looks at Desmond, and then goes to open the door. Once more, you see as she pulls the latch aside, undoes the chain, turns the heavy knob, and pulls open the front door. Jack, what do they see in the doorway?
In the door, all you see is a hulking reptilian figure, and you only see his shoulders down. He is taller than the door, such that when he enters, he ducks his head underneath, and he has the head of an alligator, and he is like almost like a camouflaged brown and green on most of his skin and scales, with like a yellow underbelly and carriage. He wears this burnt sienna hide armor, and he has this really ornate looking bow strapped across his back with some arrows and a quiver on his hip. These like bright yellow alligator eyes are shining into your room here, and he looks very sheepish. I don't know if you guys can read emotions on a lizard. But he walks in and he like ducks underneath, expecting to just see Desmond, and he's suddenly very awkward. And he says,
Mr. Desmond, I'm sorry to interrupt. I didn't think you'd have company here.
Shock. It's back so soon, I see.
hello.
Hi.
Well, what brings you in, son? What can I help you out with?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for helping me find that place out in the foreign quarter, but it seems the landlord didn't take too kindly to me overflowing the bathtub and trying to turn some of the rooms into some familiar territory. Needless to say, my swamp apartment has not exactly worked out. And
A
I need.
swamp apartment, if you will.
That's quite good. I like that.
Thank you.
Needless to say, I was looking for a new place to stay, but it seems there's people here, and he immediately like drops to a knee and like bows his head in front of the three of you. And he just like starts muttering to himself or like to anyone who will listen. And he'll say, I apologize for my intrusion, and I wish nothing but the best for all of you and your adventures, and if there's anything I can do, I'd be happy to help.
Get up, Kashak. Yeah, we've been over this a few times now. You ain't gotta prostrate yourself before everybody you meet. Just stand up.
It
Alright.
did make me feel really important, though. So
He does that to literally everybody. So
still made me. it
take
didn't-
that
it
for what
doesn't
you will.
finish that.
Old habits die hard, I guess. Sorry about anything else.
So you're saying you're in need of lodging again? Yes.
It would appear so, yes.
And it'll appear that you all seem to be in need of another hand, or set of hands, I should say. Y'all got a place to
I
stay?
suppose so. I mean, the number might come back. We don't
Our
know.
ranks do seem to have opened up in the
And-
past few days.
A Kashark is an upgrade from Shark for sure. So
Kashak? Kashak?
How do you say it? I'm not too
Kashak?
good with your lizard folk names.
He gets back down to one knee in front of Dr. Forsyth and he says,
My name is Kashak. I am known as we speak as Kashak the Black Scale. And it would be my honor to join your raiding party in whatever missions befall you. My bow and true.
Kashak.
True now.
We are not a raiding party. You have the wrong idea. We are merely trying to help our friend Desmond and Isabella here with some troubling events that have gone on in this city.
We've only known each other for like 2 weeks now, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not exactly like a close-knit adventuring party, but
And
we're
it
getting
should
there.
not prove difficult for me to prove myself among your ranks as well. Isabella and Desmond have proven fast friends for me also, and I'd be honored to help any friends of them.
We do need to talk about this whole, like, turning our flat into a swamp apartment, though, because I'm not sure that's the best environment for me. How do you feel about dry land?
I am growing more accustomed to it every day. It
How do you
seems as
feel
though
about-
not many in Absalom are favorable to swamps.
How do you feel about
Absalom?
sleeping on the floor in the living room?
Well, we
Not
have
like
the
a bedroom.
vault. You could sleep in the
Floors are
vault.
nothing to me. I slept on the jungles of the Mwangi Expanse and the Sodden lands for my whole life.
Excellent.
You've come
We'll
a long
take
way,
it.
my friend.
Yes, far from home, as it were.
Do
Well-
you give good piggyback rides?
I suppose that's for you to find out.
and he like turns around. And yeah, if you jump on, he's
Right.
gigantic. He is 6'7", 250. He is a big boy.
Unit. He is a unit.
He's a
Yeah.
big boy.
He's
big,
a big,
beefy boy.
yeah,
You said he's 6'7".
yeah. He is tall.
He's the same height as my brother.
Wow. Is your brother also a lizard archer, or is that like just where the similarities end?
That
What a
would-
strange coincidence.
I mean-
he is.
Oh my god.
Yeah, like. Yep.
Desmond kind of looks at the exchange and says, for what it's worth, I can confirm that this man here knows how to hold his own in combat.
I don't know if there was any doubt about that, and he looks up at this lizard folk.
All I'm saying is he might just be useful for the endeavors that y'all are about to embark on. Speaking of which, the House of the Plains. normally has only one entrance. Normally. When they built the place in the underground under Eastgate, they made an escape plan of sorts. Built a tunnel out the back just in case the law ever came a knocking. That being said, some number of years ago, well, the underworld is called the underworld for a reason. A beast from the Darklands made its way up, ended up breaking through into that escape tunnel. So it was abandoned by Jeremy. Better left to just defend the door instead of trying to clear out the tunnel every day. That, if you're brave enough to get in, is how I've got in prior. As I mentioned, though.
Just a tunnel opened by an extra dimensional creature. No big deal.
Is this Darklands beast still residing in this tunnel?
They took care of it at the
question.
time, but creatures from the Darklands do occasionally make their way up, which is why I'm saying it's dangerous.
Kashak, you are a welcomed ally now to our journey. If we
Yes.
are going to be facing horrible things like that.
You'll be first in line, okay?
So,
I'm unfamiliar with the Darklands. I've been in the dark before. I can't say I mind it too much. I think I can still shoot true in this tunnel.
here's the
How
deal.
do you see well in the dark, Kashak?
I see just fine in the dark.
All right, good to know.
I actually don't know what my vision level is in the dark.
He says, entirely unconfident.
He says very confident, but then he splits his little eyes back and forth. Wait, do I see
As his
As it
eyes
goes,
blink sideways,
Yeah.
yep.
He's like the serpent eyes or something.
He's got the double eyelid.
Yeah. Oh yeah, creepy.
Uh,
Creepy.
Desmond's like, now here's the deal. The entrance to this secret tunnel is in a graveyard known as Raptor's Rest. It's over
Raptor's Rest or
Rest,
Raptor's Rest?
where you go to sleep like a rest.
Raptor's Rest.
Raptor's Rest. It's a small little graveyard shoved between two houses and a church on the western section of Eastgate.
West Eastgate.
Yes, West Eastgate. Here's the catch. House of the Plains is a pretty nice establishment for some pretty wealthy, pretty influential figures. You walk in there looking like you look now, you're just gonna get kicked right out. So you're gonna want to find some nicer clothing, if you can.
I think the doctor gives a side eye to Twinkle Toes and Bastro and
Yeah.
says, Kashak, we need to get you a disguise now.
And he looks at Isabella. Isabella, if you wouldn't mind accompanying them and giving them a per capita to get them outfitted. She just kind of nods. The second bit, however, is as dangerous as whatever might have crawled out of those tunnels to the Darklands. It's not half as dangerous as Jeremy. So I'm going to be very clear about this. You do not want to start a fight in the House of the Plains. You'll get your shit wrecked, and you're not going to have a good day. There's some very dangerous people in there with very dangerous servants. Alright? Least of which is Jeremy himself. So your best bet.
Let's remember that this advice is coming from a guy whose leg is only recently not bleeding openly. So if this hardcore guy is really telling us to play it cool,
Yeah.
we should play it cool. Yeah.
Your best bet is to get in there and pry the patrons for any information they might have about what's going on.
So some sweet talking.
There's some of the, as I mentioned, some of the seediest people in Absalom. If anyone knows what's going down with the people that are being, disappearing, it's gonna be them. So, take the time you need to get prepared. Get ready for a fight, getting through those creatures, whatever's making home in the tunnels. And then get yourself ready to talk to some real shady folk.
And Kashak will once again go to one knee and say, "It will be my honor to serve everyone in this room."
Oh dear, we have to work on this, my friend.
All right, it's an old habit.
Like I said,
Is Twinkle Toes still
literally
on
everybody.
Kashak's shoulders?
Until you say you're not, yeah. I'll take the encumbrance. How many bulk are you?
Like -2, I don't know.
Yeah. Life
Is that,
bulk.
is that an impolite question to ask a lady? How many bulk are you?
On a scale of 1 to 10, how many bulk are you?
The scale of L to many.
I'm 2'11", and I am carrying 2 bulk worth of items.
I can very
I
easily
assume
carry.
So you're probably about
carry you. Yeah.
5 bulk.
probably total.
Yeah.
That doesn't even encumber me.
Yeah. Sick. This is up to you all. Your timeline. But as I mentioned, these people are missing. So, if there's any chance in finding them, we gotta do it quick. Take the time you need, but the best time to go there would be at night, when all the patrons are there.
Let's keep moving.
Okay.
Yeah, do you think you could lend us some gold for this?
I literally
think it's
just
gonna
asked Isabella to give
say
you a
that.
per capita.
How will it be tolerated if we sneak into a secret place at night and through a tunnel that's supposed to be
Well,
overrun?
First of all, it's underground, so the at-night portion is really just to make sure that people are there. Once you get in through the back door, as long as nobody's paying too much mind, as long as you don't get thrown out, or make yourselves obvious that you're outsiders, if you blend in, you'll be fine.
You are saying to a 6'7" lizard person.
It's the
Very
Absalom
reasonably-
underworld. Like, it's not about who you are,
That could be a real thing.
it's as long as you pass yourself off as a criminal, you'll be
Sure.
fine. Which,
But, yeah.
if Kashak is there, could pass as literally a bodyguard for anyone. Like,
Just any muscle.
yeah. Like not that unlikely.
Yeah, I just want to know, like,
I'm in
if
a
we just
black
like,
t-shirt
if we just like
and, like-
show up, is it like weird?
If you
or is
look
it,
the
like,
part,
oh,
once you're in,
yeah.
once you're inside, from what you're getting from what he's saying,
Mhm.
once you're inside, like people will assume that you got in through the front door
Yeah,
with an
just
invitation.
camouflage. Yeah,
So-
just social camouflage.
Yeah. So it's more about making sure you don't stick out like a sore thumb
Yeah.
by dressing the part, by acting the part of these criminal elements. You'll be fine.
Cool. Yeah, very cool. All right.
I'm ready to go. So let's get this.
I'm obviously ready to go. Yeah.
Yeah, this outfit gold.
Yeah, let's get the shopping and go.
Where do I get a full tuxedo? Where do I get a full black tie?
I was
tailored
literally
tuxedo?
picturing like a shock in a tuxedo. Though.
Hater in a
Like, that would be
tuxedo.
so funny. Just like butler
Um,
lizard person.
Yeah, so imagine like a
Just like Alfred, but a gator.
did any of you see Kingsman?
Oh yeah, I love that
Yes.
movie.
So imagine like Kingsman where he has to like dress in the tux to get into the party, the super secret like end of the world party.
Yeah.
It's like that. Where it's
Okay.
like
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Nines.
everybody's like
Yeah.
dressed up, they're all doing illegal stuff.
I imagine it's black tie optional. Yeah.
And it's more about just like, again, once you get in, you just gotta act the part, and not starting a fight because again, warned you that that is not a good idea.
So do we like have to stow weapons? This is gonna be weird.
Probably not.
Okay.
I think
a
people
weapon.
This
will,
is gonna be dicey.
People will
I'm
definitely
gonna get
have-
weird.
and he would tell you that it's like people are definitely gonna have weapons, visible weapons on their persons. Just wouldn't make sense not to.
Right.
Imagine a den of vipers where all the vipers want to eat each other.
den of scum and villainy.
The only thing keeping them from knots is the mutually assured destruction of it.
Right. No, yeah. I mean, if we get like some nicer clothes for Kashak, we're chilling. I think we're good to go.
Let's do it. Let's go.
So Isabella will lead you all back out of the hut. You hear the locks going off behind you as the door shuts. And once more you head into the coin district. Kashak now in tow, Isabella leading the way. Is there any conversation or anything that's happening on the way as you're making your way back towards the coin district?
I am no longer on Kashak's shoulders, and I am walking next to Isabella and flirting profusely like the entire way.
Roll diplomacy.
Okay. Natural 20!
Hey! Oh. Yeah.
Why ask you
Hell
Isn't
that?
that twice that you've like randomly done amazingly on a diplomacy to woo her? Isn't this actually like
Yeah,
making
I
a
think
lot of
so.
progress?
Yeah,
fake.
no, like, this is a
27.
As you are doing this, you come to find that she becomes more and more meek. It becomes very apparent that she is entirely unused to the attention that you are paying her.
I'll chill a little bit. I don't want to
Yeah.
overwhelm her.
Like, it's not that she doesn't necessarily enjoy it or enjoy the attention. It is just she is apparently very far out of her element. She seems to be much more of a fighter than a lover. Both in mechanical senses and personal senses. You all continue about your way.
Twinkle Toes is slightly more interested in her personal senses, if you know what I mean.
You all make your way to the coin district, or the coins, as it is called. And eventually, after winding through some back streets, you find a tailor with an attached, basically off-the-rack section with the tailor on site. So it's nice clothing, but it is, for the most part, prefabricated. Something that would be easy to do, to make alterations to, without having to do custom outfits. A store by the name of the Satin Sachet. At the entrance, you see brilliant windows on one side, like a brilliant white and black tux, and on the other, these beautiful purple and blue dresses, gowns, I should say. You enter and you see clothing of make for all various sizes and shapes of persons, including a very limited selection for larger folk that might have tails prehensile or not.
The big and tall section. Let's go.
Yes. Go ahead and
Big, tall,
describe
and
to me
tail.
what your ideal underworld black tie party outfit would be.
Oh my god. I'll go last.
I'll be easy. Kashak has no idea. He walks in and he's so confused about everything. He's picking up like dresses and children's clothes, and then he like eventually gets like the tailor to help pick him something out. It's very standard, like
Yeah, so this
black
elderly
tie,
elven
very,
male
very normal. Yeah.
is kind of like following Kashak around, almost out of amusement after a certain point. And as you're picking things up, he's like, "Nope, not that, not that." And then you go to another section, you pick up like this, 2-year-old gnomish woman's, or gnomish child's dress. As you're trying to like put it over your head as like a hat, he's like, "No, no, 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 not that either." And just again, out of almost amusement, just wants to see what you're doing with what he's got.
Right. And he's very lithe. He's like nimbly picking up a few things every once in a while, but
Yeah.
he's completely out of his element. for
But
sure.
eventually he guides you back towards like the more traditional suits and tux section for gentlemen of your stature.
Are
Anyone
we
else
gonna
have
worry about the
anything?
gold for this, or is this just gonna be like Isabella pays the tab,
I mean,
provided we don't like go?
they're like knockoffs, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's not like actual silk, but unless you're touching it, it looks like silk.
Fair enough.
That kind of deal.
I get you.
Twinkle Toes is. I said I was gonna go last. I changed my mind. Twinkle Toes wants a floor-length, slinky purple dress with like a sweetheart neckline and shoulders that come like off the sleeves, like bells do, and then elbow-length black gloves with like silver trim on them and on the dress, and then her black mask that she wears.
Nice. Anyone else have anything specific, or are we just going black tie, black tux?
So Bastro is gonna have like a black tux with black bow tie. He's also gonna want a black fedora just to tie it all together on top.
Do you want a fedora or do you want a trilby?
No, definitely fedora.
You have like a purple undercut, right? Like your hair is wacky.
Yeah,
Right,
exactly. Yeah, it's
right.
just you'll just see like the shaved sides of my head basically with his hat on. But also he wants, and he'll even pay for this himself, but he wants Peter to have a little fedora for himself as well.
Oh my!
And he also wants like maybe like a gold like bracelet or something to fit around Peter's neck.
He looks at you and he's like,
act like a necklace.
it's funny that you mention that. I actually have a hat meant for a sprite, but he never picked it up. And like pulls out this tiny little, like 2-inch fedora.
Yo, Peter
It's
the Dove.
perfect.
Peter
It's
the
perfect.
Dove is dripping. He is styling right now.
He's a hero of Absalom.
Yeah, that's number 4, right?
Naturally.
3 or 4. Yeah, we found him.
It's great. Yeah, that's basically how Bastro wants to go.
Forsyth?
Is this so? This is not like only like black formal wear.
No,
Like
it's
this-
just fancy
it could be-
dress.
Just fancy.
Yeah.
Okay. Then the doctor wants like a 3-piece suit with an overcoat.
What color is the suit?
He wants the suit to be this kind of like deep purple color that in the right light could pass for black, like a very dark, deep purple. But he wants his overcoat to be this like resplendent emerald color.
All right. So, being about 125 gold lighter, Isabella leads you all out of the satin sachet, headed back towards the Eastgate district. And it's been about, you guys have probably spent about 3.5-4 hours here just making sure everything fits. Again, it was off the rack, but then tailored to a degree. So it took you some time. You might have like hopped out for food at some point, taking turns while one person was up on the, the stand getting measured out and getting the alterations done. And eventually, you all make your way back to Raptor's Rest. It's about 8 o'clock as you come upon this dark, decrepit-looking graveyard. This, 100-foot by 100-foot patch that has been shoved in between a church at the back and 2 shanty houses on either side. The area of Eastgate you're in now, apparently very dilapidated, a bit less affluent, apparently. You see a number of gravestones that have been broken, moss growing over them. But you notice the emblem of an eagle with claws wrapped around the sign to signify that this place, Forsyth would know, and probably also Twinkle Toes, is the resting place of members. What? I just had it here. Of the Eagle's Watch, the guard of this area. So, while it supposedly is a place of reverence, It has apparently gone uncared for. And as you come upon it, Isabella says, the catacombs are just below the central structure. You see a crypt in the center of the graveyard area that has a singular door. It's not very large. It's maybe 15 by 15 with a 5-foot door, 5-foot wide door, 8-foot tall wooden door that opens in. Doesn't look like a very big area. She says there are a number of coffins in there. If you find the right one, it's got the tunnel that leads down. Is there anything else you need?
Sean Connery, James Bond routine where we got the wetsuits on to go through the tunnel and we're gonna unzip them. And it's gonna be full
Yes.
top. Is that the move? Like, are we just gonna go rummaging through these Darklands portals in full black tie gear?
Oh, I imagine,
guess.
like, yeah. Well, I don't know. I imagine we're not like wearing everything right now. You know, like we've got our adventuring gear on, right?
Yeah.
You tell me.
We packed.
I'm
duffel
definitely
bag.
wearing my fedora right now. Definitely wearing that.
I mean, Kashak is definitely wearing his normal armor. He's not wearing the suit.
So is
by
Peter.
any means.
Yeah, I've got my armor on. Yeah.
I figured as
Yeah.
much.
Yeah. It's just funny that like we bought this nice stuff. It's like, all right, let's go fight.
Yeah. Let's go into the sewer.
Yeah, so that's a
Tunnel
good
with these
question.
demons and monsters.
Is the suit over our armor, or is like
You
do we
tell
not
me.
have our armor on when we don't?
You
have...
can either wear the fancy clothes or your armor, not both.
Okay,
But
I see.
definitely armor.
Okay, I'm wearing my armor right now.
Like the fancy clothes were tailored to you not wearing armor. So
I'm wearing my armor right now.
But I can still wear my fedora.
you
so that's-
theoretically
we will
could.
change out of our armor later and into our fancy clothes and put our armor in the bag of holding.
Good plan.
All right.
You all enter into the graveyard, eventually making your way to the crypt at the center. The door gives way after a bit of force. You hear the rust being shaken off of the hinges as it opens. You take a search around. There's 4 sarcophagi that are laid out in this central structure. And as you look, like one person give me a survival check. Somebody else
How
can try
about
to
me?
aid. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely you.
Ooh, that's not. I'm gonna hear it like that.
Smart.
Yeah, there we go. 21.
21.
He will almost like, if we're going into the tunnel, he will almost like push everyone behind him and say, "It's generally best if I lead the way. It's sort of what I was doing my entire life with my tribe, and it'd probably be in your best interest if I go first."
I am not going to second guess a crocodile.
What happened to your tribe? Are they still around?
The tribe still exists, as far as I know, but I've not seen them in many moons.
Well,
That's a story. That's a story for another time, my friend. I promise I will tell it. But
I'm sure
It seems
you're a good
we-
leader. I'll follow you.
thank you, friend. Thank you, Bastro. And he draws his bow and he'll lead forward. So 21 on the survival.
Yeah, so you take a look, you like search through, taking a close look at all of these sarcophagi, and you notice that one has claw marks on both the lid and the base of the sarcophagi, like something had clawed it open from the inside. You pick it up and you peer in, and you see that there is a hole, a small hole that has been dug down through the upper portion of the sarcophagus with a ladder that leads into darkness below.
Cool. Is everyone good to go? Kashak will just
Yes.
climb down the
Let's do
ladder.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As you all descend, climbing into the first the sarcophagus, then down the hole and down the ladder, the air immediately grows cold as you descend underground. The ladder itself is about 15 feet tall, and once you hit the ground, who can see in darkness? Like pitch black darkness.
Not Kashak.
The doctor can.
The totally normal human can.
Totally
Yeah.
normal.
I actually have no sort of low light or dark vision.
Only one who can
Yeah.
see in.
I have no light and no darkness.
I mean, I have torches, but I assume.
Yeah,
Dr.
so I mean,
Forthwith
it
would
is
give me the go ahead. Yeah.
pitch
We work
black,
before.
zero
We're
light.
gonna-
Okay.
I
So
can.
you all light some torches, and as they
Okay.
flicker to life, you see what looks to be like a crudely dug out little antechamber around you, like almost like a dome, with the hole going up to the sarcophagus. And then in front of you are stairs that have been kind of carved out of the rocky soil that lead down along a corridor in front of you. At which point it seems to switch back to the left. Goes down about 20 or so feet. Excuse me. The height of this little corridor is about 8 feet tall, 5 feet wide, and extends down about 20 feet in front of you. At which point you see it like switch back around to the left. You continue down the stairs. It continues to switch back around almost endlessly after 8th, 9th, 10th time you round this corner. You're just going down and down and down. But eventually the masonry of the staircase ends at the entrance to a cavern that is carved out of countless layers of rubble and ancient city buildings. To the west, the subterranean passage splits into 2 tunnels. And that is where we'll end it for the week.
Oh, so spooky.
Oh man.
So ready for this.
Oh man.
Excited.
We're so doomed. No, I'm excited.
Welcome, Kashak, to the show.
Character.
Thank you, everybody, so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. If you have a moment, if you like what you saw here today, please go ahead and follow us on Twitch. Also, check out our Facebook and our Twitter and Instagram for all of our social media stuff. Got some really cool behind-the-scenes stuff going on over, especially on our Instagram. So definitely check that out.
Stay tuned for character art of Kashak. That'll
Yes.
be coming out this week.
Yes, yes.
I can't wait.
Get an early sneak peek at Kashak's character art. And we'll see you here again next week. Same time, same place, same bat channel. All that good stuff. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight, and we hope you have a good one. We'll see you
everyone.
next week.
Good
Have a
night,
good night.
everyone.
Buonanotte.
Bye.